if you're going to be a medium worth your salt, you have to have an afterlife plan. You have to have a thing that says, if you hear and Bingo was his name-o, that's me. I'm coming back.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Mondo Rico.
A quick note before we start this episode. Despite our best efforts, you might hear some labored breathing in the background while Rob is talking. That's his dog, Snowy, who was sleeping by him during the show's recording. Just wanted to let you know before any of you worried about Bob's health. Oh, Snowy's fine as well. It's just a stuffy nose.
So did you end up doing any preliminary investigation about our subject this week?
Very little.
Very little, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Was I busy?
Oh, no, it's good. So the first thing I noticed about Doris Stokes is not a case. I think at the end of the last episode, we riffed a bit on it being another case. So anybody that's tuning in just to hear another case, they may be sorely disappointed. Oh, you know what? Before we get into the episode, I had a dream that you were in the other night. It was kind of weird.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Watch out. Wait a minute. Maybe I don't want to hear about this.
Usually my dreams are this sort of rapid fire, scene changing. And occasionally I get these dreams where it's like it stays consistent longer than a typical dream sequence. And some instances, it's like I know or I'm aware of something that I shouldn't necessarily know. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of times these types of dreams have actually predicted the future. I know that's odd to say. So I'm in this old time movie theater and I'm in the projection room, right?
Okay.
And I can't really see you, but you're like...
I'm the projectionist. Yeah. Okay.
You're not. You're in this theater. Totally.
You're the projectionist.
Totally empty theater. I'm not projecting. I'm just sort of observing. And you're in the theater.
Lurker.
Kind of seeing this shape, which I just know is you. I can't really see you. And you're watching whatever they're playing on. It's like this rotating film that just goes on. It's the same thing over and over again.
That's my life.
I couldn't see the screen real well, but it was either a clock, a car, or a wallet.
Clock, car, wallet.
Anything making sense?
No, nothing obvious. I don't have anything on a clock or a wallet.
Nothing
or a
that you've been
car.
puzzling about recently?
No.
No. All right. Well.
No.
Well, there goes my attempt to cold read you. So no, I didn't have a dream. I was trying to use some of the techniques that I learned about in preparing for the episode today.
You're doing a cold read from Doris.
I'm trying to see if I could get you on the hook.
I'll be like, oh, Rob, you're right. I've been thinking about money lately.
I do have a couple of random psychic experiences that I can't explain, which are just absurd. I'll blurt out a word or a name, and someone will say, why did you say that? And I'm like, I have no idea.
Tourette's. That's what I always say.
It is like psychic Tourette's. Yeah. Okay, so Doris Stokes is what the randomizer spit out at us at the end of last episode. And surprisingly, there was an entry in our field guide for her.
Really?
Yeah.
That field guide's like magical, you know?
It's the strangest thing. It's like the randomizer picks a topic, you thumb through the field guide, and boom, there it is.
It's amazing. It's like a fish in a tank. It just grows to meet the size of the tank.
Or what is it? Nanny Paskin's purse? No, Mary Poppins' purse.
Oh, Nanny Paskin. You just made up a whole new character. Nanny Paskin. Nanny Paskin is a shot of bourbon will make my day go quicker. Just a shot of bourbon makes my day go real fast. I already forgot. Nanny what?
Nanny Paskins, I think is what I said.
Nanny Paskins. Okay.
Maybe this is one of my psychic blurts.
It may be.
We'll get the assistants to try to dig up who Nanny Paskins is.
Nanny Paskins, it was said, would put all children straight to bed. Tucking them in with a muttered curse, she'd pull the bourbon from her magic purse. If it wasn't for the pay, she'd say, I'd drown each one of them straight away. And since their parents have no clue, I'll take their coins and hate them too.
So the field guide entry on Doris Stokes. I know you don't think too much about this before it's time to...
Yeah, I don't think about these things. Doris Stokes was a British spiritualist medium who captivated millions with her apparent ability to communicate with the dead. Rising to fame in the 1970s and 80s, she packed theaters and became a household name through television appearances and best-selling books. Stokes claimed to relay messages from the departed to grieving audience members, convincing many of her abilities. However, investigators allege she employed fraudulent techniques, researching attendees beforehand, making high-probability guesses, and planting accomplices in her audiences. Despite detailed exposés after her death in 1987, Stokes remains polarizing, a source of comfort and proof of an afterlife for believers, and a case study in psychological manipulation for the skeptics.
Doris Stokes.
Bob's your uncle.
I don't think I had an Uncle Bob.
Right, all right.
Not what I expected when we heard the name in the randomizer, but very interesting.
So basically, she's a medium that got really popular in Britain in the 70s.
Yeah, 70s and 80s.
Early 80s, yeah.
Kind of became England's psychic of sorts.
Was she on the Frost Report?
That name did not come up. There's actually some quiz-related content that we're starting to tap into right now.
Oh, okay. I just was curious. We had Dick Cavett, right? And then over in Britain, they had like David Frost.
David Frost, yeah.
And Wogan.
Wogan's Heroes, yeah.
No, I don't know who Wogan's Heroes would have been, but Wogan was, I believe he was an Irish journalist, kind of pseudo-journalist talk show host.
I gotcha. Name's familiar.
Yeah. You can go look it all up later.
Yeah.
You can have somebody talk about Terry Wogan right now. Ready?
Terry Wogan was an Irish-British broadcasting legend who became one of the BBC's most beloved personalities from the late 1960s until his death in 2016. He was best known for his weekday BBC Radio 2 breakfast show, Wake Up to Wogan, which attracted 8 million listeners and made him the most listened-to radio broadcaster. He also had his primetime BBC television chat show, Wogan, where celebrities like Doris Stokes would have appeared.
I did not know that about Terry Wogan.
Oh, that Terry Wogan.
That one fact that was just said by the one voice?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. No idea. So yeah, it was not the typical topic so far that we've run across here, but definitely pretty interesting. It seemed, trying to think of Sylvia Brown, right? She was a U.S.-based spiritual medium.
I think she had like newspaper columns and stuff,
I think so, yeah. I'm not sure if she was on Oprah, but
I think she was more of a Donahue.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, that sounds better. And now we've got, who's the lady out in New Jersey, the Long Island medium?
I have heard of her. I can't remember her name, but yeah. And I think his name is John Brown. He's another one. I think his name is John Brown.
I can picture him.
He was a medium.
He had a TV show for a while, right?
Yeah. It was like Transitions.
John Edwards.
John Edwards. John Edwards. That's it. You're right. John Edwards. Thank you.
It's actually Edward without an S. And his show was called Crossing Over, which theoretically does have something to do with transitions.
I don't really know anything about Doris Stokes. I did do like a blink and you'll miss it kind of look at a page, and I got real bored real quick for some reason.
I was a little bit worried this could be a bit of a dry topic, but I was into this kind of stuff when I was younger, and I still catch the Long Island medium when I see her on TV, looking for the reactions of the people she's reading.
Do you really? You watch that?
Well, not religiously, but if it's on the TV, I won't complain about that show like I'll complain about others that are on my TV. So that one, I'll sit down and watch it for a few minutes.
This is Ryan Frank from the Baggage Podcast, and you're listening to Mondo Frico. But you're not telling your coworkers you listen to Mondo Frico because they're going to think you're weird. But you should tell your coworkers about it because they're probably a little weird too.
Well, now we've got some good context for who Doris Stokes is. Why don't we head over to the Mondo Frico quiz and see how you fare on a topic you don't know too much about.
Okay.
Quiz.
Oh, that was Doris.
Quiz.
Yeah, that was actually Doris's voice saying quiz.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, maybe.
She said quiz?
Yeah, she did. One of the last things...
I think it would be more like quiz.
Well, last thing she said before she passed was
quiz?
Quiz. I think. That's still disputed.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. What personal tragedy did Doris Stokes cite as the catalyst for developing her mediumship abilities? Was it the death of her father, the death of her infant son, the death of her pet Mongolian death worm, or her personal health struggles? Which of those tragedies did she claim was catalysts for her developing her skills?
I'm taking a guess just because of what I heard in the field guide. I want to say the son, death of the son.
Stokes claimed, and that's correct.
Oh, wow.
Stokes claimed that before her infant son's death, her deceased father appeared to her and warned her that the baby would die. This traumatic experience led her to join a spiritualist church and develop her claimed abilities.
By the way, Doris May, your kid's gonna die. I'm telling you.
Jeez.
Father, don't say such a thing. It's true.
Yeah, that would not be a pleasant dream to have.
Yeah. No wonder she was so traumatized by that.
Apparently her father was in World War I and was the victim of gas attacks. And I don't mean like having some sort of indigestion.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And so,
mustard gas.
and so he died very, very young, and that's why he was available to relay the news about her son. All right. What 1978 television appearance is credited with catapulting Doris Stokes to international fame? Was it the Merv Griffin Show? The Don Lane Show? The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson? Or the Trebuchet Show, where contestants were catapulted further and further distances while accumulating prizes, money, and assorted injuries?
I think Monty Python had the Trebuchet
The
show.
Trebuchet Show. That's hard to say.
Would you like to try the next Trebuchet?
Let's go for it.
Load me on.
That's their catchphrase. Load me up.
Load me on.
And the whole audience is chanting, load
Because after
me up.
the first trebuchet, you break your legs, so you have to be loaded on after the first one. Honestly, I am going. This is a tough one.
The Trebuchet Show is brought to you by Bayer Aspirin.
This is a tough question.
The Don Lane Show is in Australia, in case that helps at all.
Well, that's the only one I didn't know. I know it's not Griffin. It's not Merv Griffin. Ooh, we're gonna be right back. Ooh. The I want to say it was, but see the Don Lane's in the. See, I'm playing the odds here, right? So, because I don't know that much about Doris, and so we already had one second position be correct. But I think it's the Don Lane Show, but that's in second position, which normally you probably mix them up a little bit better. But I'm
The
gonna say Don Lane
assistants,
Show.
the assistants mix them up.
Oh, okay. Well, whoever.
It is indeed the Don Lane Show. Her appearance.
Really? Well, did you tell those assistants they need to mix it up a little?
Her
bit? Come on.
appearance on Australia's The Don Lane Show created such a wave of interest that she subsequently performed to 3 capacity audiences at the Sydney Opera House, launching her international career.
Oh, I would love to see this in the Opera House.
Yeah, she saw it 3 times from the stage.
Not in the picture, yeah. Not in the picture.
Is that the one that's really weird looking with the little curves?
Yeah. It's like a bunch of shells or something. Yeah.
What in the bloody hell is Mondo Frico, and why would I listen to it?
So, what was his name again? Something Lane.
Don Lane.
Don Lane. I was going to say Dan
I'm
Lane.
going to bet
Don
that
Lane.
wasn't his birth name, Don Lane.
Right, yeah, that doesn't sound very
That's
Australian.
that's a stage name for sure.
Yeah. Don Lane. Oh, it's Don Lane there. Right. Crikey. It's Doris is coming out. She's going to tell us all about my past life. Before I was Don.
Yeah, she owes him. He's the one that launched her career.
Yeah. Your name was originally Bruce. Oi.
Who did...
That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Sorry, was moving on to the next one here. Who did Doris Stokes identify as her consistent spirit guide, helping her connect with the spirit world? Was it a wise ancient Greek philosopher, her deceased grandmother, a Tibetan monk named Romanov, or Sheki the dead Shetland pony who stomped out messages in horse code?
Horse code. Horse code wouldn't be dots and dashes. What would horse code be?
Horseshoe shape. Upside down, sideways.
What?
Horseshoe shaped, either upside down or sideways. Those are the 2 options.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking Snickers and Winnies.
Two of my favorite candies as a kid.
Gosh, I'm going to go with it because I can't go in the number 2 position again. It would be unheard of. Plus, I just think it's funny. The Tibetan monk named Romanov.
A Tibetan monk named Romanov. That is correct. You are once again kicking butt on this quiz.
I just thought that seems to be something because it's almost as if she just made it up and then they're like, well, what's the Tibetan monk's name? Romanov?
In her autobiographical work, Stokes described how Romanov acted as her guide, even once stopping her from using dishonest cold reading techniques that another medium had suggested. There is no mention of why a Tibetan monk has a Slavic-sounding name.
Well, much like Don Lane, who was Bruce Lane.
Oh, you think that the Tibetan monk had a stage name when he decided to be her spirit guide. I get it.
Yeah, he
decided to go with Romanov.
I think he was originally Dolly Alpaca.
I went to high school with her.
Dolly Alpaca. Really?
Yeah, a lot of hair.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
What audience manipulation technique did investigators discover Doris Stokes employed at her London Palladium shows?
Wow. This woman got around.
Mm-hmm. Did she hire actors to pose as audience members? Did she reserve the front rows of her shows for personally invited guests? Did she use hidden earpieces to receive information from assistants? Or did she employ the Vulcan mind meld, which was once implemented on a young and impressionable Gene Roddenberry?
Doris, I'm writing a new Wagon Train to the Stars. You think you can help me out? Of course, Gene.
And you are going to live long and prosper.
Prosper, that's right.
Gene Roddenberry, the creator of the legendary Star Trek television series, first pitched his concept to NBC executives by describing it as Wagon Train to the Stars. Drawing on the popularity of the hit Western series, Roddenberry envisioned a spacefaring adventure that would follow a crew of explorers encountering new worlds and civilizations. Among the most iconic characters was Mr. Spock, the half-human, half-Vulcan science officer. Portrayed by actor Leonard Nimoy, Spock possessed the unique Vulcan ability known as the mind meld, a telepathic technique that allowed him to share thoughts and memories with another being. Spock also popularized the Vulcan greeting, "Live long and prosper."
Yeah. Oh my, this is a tough one. You may get me on this
Hire
one.
Actors, reserving the front rows for folks that she invites, hidden earpieces.
Yeah, I don't think that she was overly high tech, so I'm going to nix the earpiece. My gut tells me the front row were people that she...
Doris Stokes did indeed reserve the front 3 rows for personally invited guests. The Palladium manager confirmed this practice to investigators, revealing that people receiving messages, in quotes, had often been personally contacted by Stokes beforehand and strategically seated in these reserved rows.
Mm-hmm.
Have you fed your weird today? Yum, yum. Mondo Frico.
All right. What is the name of the cold reading technique that involves making statements so general they could apply to almost anyone? Mm-hmm. Is it the Barnum effect? Is it the snow miser method?
Dun, dun, dun.
Fuzzy matching? Or the rainbow ruse?
Yeah. I've heard of this, but I'm trying to remember I'm going to go with fuzzy matching.
Oh, your first incorrect response. It's actually the Barnum effect.
I was thinking P.T. Barnum, and
named after him.
I psyched myself out with that one. Dang it.
This effect describes how people accept vague personality descriptions as uniquely applicable to themselves, just as Barnum claimed his circus had something for everyone. So, yeah, that's what I was attempting to do. The cold reading, there's a Barnum effect tossed in there to try to get you to relate to my potentially psychic dream story.
Right. You were doing good. You had me going.
Did I?
Other than the fact that I'm like, no, none of that makes any sense.
Yeah, I stumbled a bit, and there's a couple of more lines I probably could have pulled you in a little bit harder, but I was trying to...
I was believing you.
Were you?
I believed you had some kind of weird dream.
All right.
I'm like, okay.
Fair enough.
I did. I psyched myself out on that one. I thought, no, that's P.T. Barnum, so that's a false one. So.
Nope. That's what it is. The Barnum effect. Okay. What did Detective Wilfred Brooks of Lancashire County in England state about Stokes' claim of helping solve murder cases? Did he confirm that she provided crucial evidence? Did he state that she had minor but helpful involvement? Did he say that she made no contribution whatsoever? Or did he say his wife threatened to leave him if he did not involve Ms. Stokes?
Where's the funny one at?
They're all funny in their own way.
Well, usually you have one that's a callback to something.
Yeah.
Like the Mongolian death worm or something. I didn't hear that. Maybe I'm not paying attention. For some reason, I want to go with the last one. I think maybe this guy's wife had a lot of influence over him.
If he didn't involve Ms. Stokes. No, that was supposed to be the funny one.
Oh, the funny one?
Uh-huh.
I've totally bought into it. I believe this guy was so henpecked that he would be like, all right. I mean, she was on the Don Lane show, so hey.
Big fan of the Lane show, Ms. What's this guy's last name? Brooks. Ms. Brooks was.
Yeah.
No, he stated that she made no contribution whatsoever. Despite Stokes' claim in her book Voices in My Ear about solving 2 murder cases, Detective Brooks flatly denied her involvement, undermining a significant part of her claimed psychic abilities.
Yeah, it's not looking good here.
I gotta say, the scale's tipping toward no freaking way.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Right.
Don Lane.
Don Lane. What was he thinking?
He's taking a fall for this one.
Yeah,
wherever
well,
he's at.
He butted heads with the amazing Randy. Don Lane did about the validity of Ms. Stokes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's in the timeline. I'll have to see if it made it in or not. Let's wrap up the quizaroo. What posthumous controversy emerged regarding Doris Stokes' estate in 1989, 2 years after her death? Did a colleague of hers claim that she'd received a message from Doris asking to exhume her body and change her outfit into something a little more comfortable? Did her autobiography reveal that she didn't believe in spirits? Did tax authorities pursue her estate for what is termed as a missing fortune? Or did her family admit to helping stage her performances?
These are gotten much tougher.
What's the last questions? This is the toughest.
I can't wheedle out the,
toughest of the tough.
I'm going to say that her estate was missing. Something was
Tax
missing in her
authorities
estate.
pursued her estate for a missing fortune. That is correct. The Sunday Mail reported that tax authorities were investigating Stokes' estate after her death, searching for undeclared earnings despite her modest declared assets of only about £15,000 when she died. So in 1987, the exchange rate would make that to be about only $24,000 in U.S. money.
Yeah.
Or if today's rate, somewhere around $65,000 or $70,000. So given the amount of success she had with best-selling novels and all the international acclaim, her estate did not show a lot of that money. So no one really knows, apparently, what happened to it.
Mondo Frico?
So she was born in 1920. We know that already, in Lincolnshire, England. At age 4, she claims that she saw spirit people. She had an impoverished childhood. We heard about her father already. Her mother had to take laundry in to support the family, I guess doing laundry in their home. At age 14, she left and pursued nursing, which she later claimed helped her to discover her psychic abilities. She then married John Stokes in 44, so she would have been 24 years old. And this is where she claimed to have had the vision of her deceased father. First of all, she predicted that her husband would actually survive World War II, despite official reports that he died, and he did. So her father was right on that one. And then after the war, that's when her infant son died suddenly, and she claimed that her father's spirit told her that. In 49, she's officially recognized as a practicing fraudulent medium, which means that she was able to hear spirits, not necessarily see them, by the Spiritualist National Union. You are a member of the SNU, aren't you, Bob?
The SNU?
The SNU.
I think I'm a NUS member, not a SNU member, yeah.
In 62, she gave up mediumship due to a crisis of confidence, and she retrained as a psychiatric nurse. 5 years later, she retired from nursing after being attacked by a patient. And then this is a little fuzzy. Up to 5 years later, she returned to psychic work. So it could have been soon after, or they knew for a fact by 72 she was back in psychic work. In 75, became the resident medium at the Spiritualist Association of Great Britain. And then it was 78 when she appeared on the Don Lane Show in Australia for her breakthrough Sydney Opera House performances. She became the first medium to perform in the London Palladium, with tickets selling out in as little as 2 hours. This is late 70s, early 80s.
That means they had to like line up because you couldn't.
No internet back then.
Over the phone, there wasn't any internet. So
got to get in there and see Doris. In her first autobiographical volume, Voices in My Ear, was published in 1980. In 80, she also sat with Mark Bolan's mother. Now, Mark Bolan is the lead singer to
T-Rex.
Yes, thank you.
Get it on, bang it gone, get it on.
Mrs. Phyllis Feld. It would have been Mark's birthday, and that's when she got the reading, and allegedly relayed messages from him regarding him. I think he sent some messages through, or met Elvis in the afterlife, or something like that. So Mrs. Feld was convinced that she had actually had contact with her son after that reading. And here we go. In 1980, James Randi confronted Stokes' claims on the Don Lane Show, which created a famous television incident. So if we can find that, we'll put a link to that in the show notes, because I would like to see James Randi confronting Don Lane about Doris Stokes' abilities.
Yeah, and that was Randi in his prime.
Yeah,
too.
that's when he was debunking the bent spoons of Uri Geller, things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. He was you probably knew this. He's a magician, apparently, James Randi.
He's a magician. Yeah. I'm a James Randi fan.
James Randi fan? Are you a James Randi fan?
I don't think I'd go that far.
No, good. At 81, somebody named Mark Plummer published Doris Stokes Wrong Police. What the heck? That's a weird name for a book. Doris Stokes Wrong - Police. That's a stupid name for a book. But anyway, he's a skeptic, and he
came to me in a dream.
What? Published? I got to get on Maggie for this.
Oh, wait. I think that was an unreleased Police album. It was called Doris Stokes Wrong, The Police. Yeah. I think it was after Zendaya Mandata or whatever. It was before...
Zenyatta Mandata, right?
Zenyatta Mandata.
That sounds right, yeah.
You are listening to Mondo Frico, and you are getting very freaky.
So this is what it is. The Skeptic is the name of some publication, and he published an article that had the headline of Doris Stokes Wrong, and then - Police was who said that Doris Stokes was wrong. So it's one of those terse headlines published in something called The Skeptic. Yeah, I got to get on Maggie.
I think The Skeptic is still around in internet form.
Okay,
I think so. Yeah.
At 82, more controversy erupts when journalist Gary Bushell revealed apparent audience vetting before performances. 83, Mark Plummer is back from The Skeptic. I'm assuming he works for them. Infiltrated her performance preparation and documented her methods. And then in 83, Innocent Voices in My Ear was published by Doris, which included the account of her sitting with the T-Rex lead singer's mom. You know, T-Rex, I never realized that's probably a reference to the dinosaur. I've heard that band name forever. I assumed it was a person's name, some guy named T-Rex.
Right. T-Rex.
Even though I've heard of Mark Bolan before, it's like, wait a second, they were probably named after the dinosaur. Because there's T-Bone Burnett, there's a lot of these musicians.
T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Yeah. That was a guy named Rex who was like, how can I be cool?
Yeah.
Stick a T in front of my name.
In 85, this is a boring one. She appeared in some BBC radio show named Desert Island Discs. In 86, she appeared in a video at, I don't know what this even means. She appeared in a video at the Barbican. I got to get on my, Maggie, did you do these? My gosh, give me some more information about these, would you? Embarrassing.
You know Desert Island Discs. That's famous.
Is it?
Desert Island Discs. Yes, Desert Island Discs is infamous.
I had assumed most people have heard of Desert Island Discs. Anyway, Desert Island Discs is a long-running BBC Radio 4 program where a guest, known as a castaway, is invited to imagine themselves stranded on a desert island. They choose 8 musical recordings, 1 luxury item, and 1 book, in addition to the automatically provided Bible or religious text and the complete works of Shakespeare to take with them. The host interviews the guest about their life using the chosen items as a springboard for discussion. Oh, and the Barbican is a large arts and residential complex in London whose Performing Arts Centre opened in 1982 and became a prominent venue for music, theatre, film, and art throughout the 1980s.
So this is getting boring. In the 80s, publishing phenomena, sold over 2 million copies total. But in 87, she died. Age 67, following surgery for a brain tumor. I guess she'd fought cancer a little bit in her life.
Did she come back and she sent back a message? Because every medium should leave some indication that they come back from the dead. They should have it planned out. If you're going to be a medium worth your salt, you have to have an afterlife plan. You have to have a thing that says, if you hear and Bingo was his name-o, that's me coming back.
I like the concept, but if once you leave this existence, you determine and understand completely why it's very important that we never really figure it out while we're here, you probably have to say, oh, okay, I get it, I won't. I know I promised I would, but it's more important to keep them guessing down there.
No, it's not.
That's your opinion.
They should do it. They should have something, because this will confirm all of it. You have so many mediums. If just one of them comes back.
No, I get it. But I'm just saying maybe what makes sense in this existence does not make sense when you're past it.
Okay.
The pets are the ones that cross the Rainbow Bridge, right?
Right.
And what do humans cross over? They take the
Overton Bridge.
They cross Overton Bridge, or they hop over to sniff the minks. Episode 2, Overton Bridge. Or is that 3?
3, I think. Yeah, 3.
Season 1, Episode 3, Overton Bridge.
Oh, yeah, Mondo Frico.
So we got a little bit of fun here. We've engaged the AI assistants. And this time, instead of doing dad jokes like we had them do for the Mongolian death worm in episode 2,
mom jokes,
we have asked them to write spirit medium related knock-knock jokes.
Okay.
And we're going to have a tournament. I've got 4 of them. We're going to pit 2 against 2. You determine who the winner is of each of the 2.
Head to head.
Head to head. And then we'll figure out who wins here. And then I'll let you know which of the assistants was the author of said joke. Okay.
We're going to play 2. I'm going to pick one of the 2.
That's right.
Okay.
We're going to start off with, strangely enough, we're going to start off with the first one.
I can already tell this is rigged.
Not rigged. What's rigged here is my attempt to deftly maneuver the technology. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready, sir. I am ready.
This is
willing to
bracket
absorb this.
1. Round 1, bracket 1.
Right.
Entry 1.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
A spirit.
A spirit who?
A spirit who wants to talk to your grandma. But I'll need her maiden name, date of birth, and your credit card number first.
I like how you get Hoyt Axton to do these. This is fantastic.
That's Bernard. You don't recognize Assistant Bernard?
Yeah, I know. It sounded like Hoyt Axton. Dylan, the dealer, and a dog named Jake, and a cat named Kalamazoo.
Okay, this is bracket 1, entry 2, round 1. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Ouija.
Ouija who?
Ouija, think you could open this portal a little wider?
I like that one.
You like that one? Okay.
Yeah, because it's so goofy. That's just a goofy one. It's like Ouija board and I love the demolishing of words. It's great.
Okay. So that's the winner.
Yeah, hands down, Ouija. Yeah.
So bracket 1, round 1, Ouija winner. Okay,
Yeah.
Now we're on to bracket 2, round 1. First entry.
All right.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Crystal.
Crystal who?
Crystal ball's a little cloudy, but I think you're about to laugh.
You're about to land?
Laugh.
Oh, laugh. I couldn't tell. I couldn't understand Hoyt or Brent or what's his name? Becker. What's his name?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Crystal.
Crystal who?
Crystal ball's a little cloudy, but I think you're about to laugh.
Okay, got it.
That was bracket 2, entry 1. Bracket 2, entry 2, the last contestant in the knock knock jokes.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Iva.
Iva who?
Iva, gray-haired female spirit who wants to come through.
So we've got Iva and Crystal Ball.
Yeah, unfortunately, Iva wasn't like the Ouija.
Didn't hit you like the Ouija
Didn't hit
did?
me like Ouija, so I'm going to go with Crystal Ball, even though I didn't understand the first time.
You disliked Iva so much.
I disliked Iva. Yeah, Iva didn't like that one. Ouija?
Okay.
I mean, because it's got layers. Iva? What's an Iva?
The person's name. Iva. Aunt Iva. Uncle Iva.
Yeah, I know, but there's no... Ouija has multiple meanings. Iva is just,
Okay. Oh, well, you're the judge here.
Yeah,
I'm
so
just
we'll
the
go
one.
with crystal ball. I think you're going to... Yeah, well, my crystal
All
ball is a little cloudy. I think you're going to laugh or something, whatever he said.
All right. So here we go. This is the finals. We're at the final two here. We're going to pit Ouija
and
against
crystal
ball.
Okay.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Ouija.
Ouija who?
Ouija, think you could open this portal a little wider? Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Crystal.
Crystal who?
Crystal ball's a little cloudy, but I think you're about to laugh.
Ouija, hands down, the best one of the bunch.
Oh, Maggie's going to be pleased. I have to say that I thought Ouija was going to fail.
Really?
Because what does Ouija think you could? What does that mean? What word is that supposed to sound like?
Would you think you could?
Would you?
Yeah, where'd you think you could? Where'd you think you... So you got to have that, Bernard's got the accent, so
there
it
you go.
works in his favor.
You live in the sticks outside of St. Louis. I'm in the bustling urban
That's true.
setting.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah, so we picked up on the Ouija right away. I'm like,
yeah,
Maggie, I thought Maggie failed on that one. So congratulations.
That's my favorite.
Congratulations, Maggie. Guess this makes up for me yelling at her for not.
So
really
was Maggie
me.
pick that one as the one or what?
Maggie's the one that wrote that knock knock joke. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks.
I forget who won the dad joke one. I think Bernard won. Yeah, Bernard.
Yeah,
won
Bernard won as well. But he's got a good delivery, don't you think?
He does. Yeah, I thought he'd be good for. I wasn't sure if he's going to be too frustrated that his joke didn't win. He wrote the spirit joke.
Yeah, no, I like that.
He's a little bit jaded. You could tell he's already on the no freaking way end of the scale.
Right.
Just by writing that joke in the first place.
Right.
This is Jonathan.
And this is Heaven from the Opa Ghost podcast.
And you're listening to Mondo Frico.
Toodles.
I sure hope we have a Ouija board somewhere in the randomizer input.
Ouija board. I don't know. That's a good question. We have to add one.
Speaking of randomizers, I think we need to move into freaking or no freaking way.
Yeah, okay.
As I looked at the summary of this episode as it came together, every step of the way, I got to land pretty firmly on the no freaking way side of things.
I'm there too. I was hoping we'd have a split, but
no.
Now I have a bias. In this realm. I have never seen anyone or been in the presence or seen anything on television or read anything that ever tells me that any of these people are legitimate, because there's just too much that is left to trust. And it's unfortunate because I actually do know somebody who believes in it and believes they've met someone who did possess abilities.
I tend to think that there's probably some sort of a kernel of ability. I think many people have, and maybe Doris did experience that. But at some point, and probably when the switch was flipped and she became famous and suddenly her income, her lifestyle, need to get another book sold, publishing deal, whatever. This is the kind of a thing you probably can't force.
Yeah. The pressures of fame would probably be too great for you to randomly get things right. You always have to push it.
Are we there yet?
I think we're there.
Mondo
Frico.
Randomizer.
All right, so we're going to do Cryptid.
Yeah.
I had some feedback from some close associates here in the Mondo Frico studio. And they said that the randomizer did not spin very quickly. So we have to make sure we pull the lever a little quicker this time so it gets a good spin in.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Do you want to pull the lever this time?
Yeah, I think you have to because it's on your screen.
Shh, this is magic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We both have a Mondo Frico lever, as you like to call them.
Gotcha.
In our studios.
So do I have to make a sound effect with my
You don't have to. You just have to pretend the sound effect happens. So, hey, Bob.
Well, I'm straining. This lever is really, we need to oil it or something.
It was a rainy season, right? It had some rain there. There's probably some rust down where it attaches to the randomizer board. You ready? Okay.
I'm ready.
Give it a big yank. Ooh. I think I coughed one of these up the other day.
Yeah, could be. Could be.
Snallygaster.
Snallygaster.
This is going to be a nice palate cleanser from Doris Stokes.
Yeah, a bit of a bummer there with dead kids and James Randi crapping all over your parade.
Yeah, dead at 67 with a brain tumor. Just not a real lighthearted story.
Right.
The Snallygaster.
The Snallygaster. I have a vague idea of a Snallygaster. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So stay tuned. Next episode on the Snallygaster. That'll be episode 7. Season 1, episode 7.
I'm getting a visual.
You are?
Doris Stokes is rubbing my back, and I'm feeling woozy.
You're feeling a Snallygaster coming up?
Yeah. Oh.
Working its way to the back of your throat?
It's a good name, no matter what.
I was wondering, do we need to have some sort of a, a lot of these podcasts, they've got a little saying that we just kind of fade off into the distance, and at some point the music comes up, which it probably is coming up right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we could give it a try. See you next show.
Yeah, freak. Perfect. Is that really?
Hey, thanks for listening to Mondo Frico. You can subscribe wherever you get podcasts, even the YouTubes. We're on all the major social media platforms, but Rob really likes Blue Sky for some reason, and I'm always posting to the Mondo Frico Facebook group.
If you like the show, leave a positive rating or review. That really helps us out. And if you want to get in touch, our contact information is in the show notes.
And be sure to tell that other weird friend you know. I bet they'd really like to listen.
See you next show.
You freak. I got the flip, the flop, the flippity flop.
Actually, I've cut those letters through my eyelids, so when I close my eyes and I look at a bright light, I could read those words.
You want owls, you want snakes, you want hawks.
Mothman baby?
I'm a doctor, not a waxsmith.
They're spinning around their chairs, poking each other in the eyes.